WNZ AM, its staff, management, or parent company, Clear Channel Communications Incorporated.
Welcome to the Caregiver Hour on 1250 WINS WHNZ, offering support for those who care for a loved one. A show that cares about you and supports and encourages you, the caregiver. Here's your host, Kim Linder.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Caregiver Hour radio show. Thank you for joining us, and I love being here every week for you. And, I just feel so compelled, so guided to be having this show available for you on iHeartRadio, on now live stream, so you can not just hear us, but also see us. And you also have the ability to interact with us. You can do instant messaging, or you can always email us at thecaregiverhour.com. If you have a comment, or you have a question, or you have a concern, this is the best time to do it. Just take that time for yourself, because this show is about really nurturing your mind, body, and spirit as a caregiver. And we're talking about professional caregivers and also family caregivers, all types, neighbors, friends, even distant relatives, or people that are long-distance caregivers that are so concerned about their loved ones all over the world. We have a toll-free number that I want you to put in your phone at work, or even when maybe you're retired and you just run around and you do volunteer work, or maybe you relax as a caregiver, but you just want to have this number, because this is your toll-free number to call during the radio show. It's 1-877-897-8255. It's like printed in my mind. Again, it's 1-877-897-8255. And this show is really here to bring the resources alive for you, not just have them written on a page or on a website, but you can connect with them through our website, resources that are alive for you, that are ready for you, that are there to answer your questions. And we have a helpline now that's available 24/7, and that is such a great resource for caregivers, because it's all about you, and I'm so happy to be able to bring that to you. This show is about resources, but information. How do you get those answers that you need? How do you get that guidance that you are so wanting? Because it's such a struggle to be a caregiver, especially when you're in the midst of it. When things are thick and things are dark, you want some light. You want some abundance of information, of knowledge and wisdom, and we can help you do that. And so are the resources. And these are hand-picked resources for you. I'm very particular. If you've been to any of my events, you know how I want things to be a certain way, and because I want my guests to feel a certain way. And the website is just the same thing, and so is this helpline. This is a great resource for you, and another number to have in your phone that's available 24/7. I have caregivers calling me from all over for information, and that's 1-877-552-4950. This is again available 24/7, and it's also on our website, thecaregiverhour.com. So I'm so excited to be bringing all this abundance of information, resources, and guidance to you, because it's really a collaboration, and you've got a great team of caregivers and experts here in your community, but they really can help people all over the world, because we're all connected now. We're all universal. And these guests that I have today are just a perfect example of the quality of experts that I want you to have and be in front of you. And today our guests are Suzanne Talbott, who is a senior care consultant, Aging Wisely and Easy Living, and she's here every month to talk about the Inspirational Caregiver Award that they grant one of their caregivers. Very creative, very innovative, and what a great way to keep their caregivers engaged in their company and in their business and their mission, and connected to the heart of why they became a caregiver. And then we have a new guest, Dr. Suzanne Johnson, who's the medical director at Gulfside Regional Hospital. This is the first time she's been here with her team, and we're so thrilled to have her here. I love hospice, and in fact, November, we do celebrate Hospice Month, so we thought this would be a great opportunity to honor all those that serve hospice, but also all the caregivers that they take care of and their patients. But, when I talked to Dr. Johnson, what came up for her was we need to be talking about the free benefits that the patients are entitled to and the caregivers while they're under their care. So we're going to be talking about that. So if you have someone in your life who is maybe going into hospice, or you want to be prepared, it's not always waiting to the last minute, just knowing what the resources are available so that you feel prepared. Or maybe you are someone who's going to need hospice sooner rather than later. You are going to be able to have the information available to you today. So great. This show is also under podcasts, so also under archive. So on our website, we actually have a tab there for the radio. If you want to listen to the archive, you can do that. There's also a link for you onto WHNZ, but we also have the archive of the show as a live web stream. So that's all under thecaregiverhour.com, and you want to hit the radio tab, and it drops down, and it gives you all those options. So we're here for you. I love it. So I want to welcome Sue Talbott to the Caregiver Hour show again. How are you today?
I'm well, Kim. How are you today?
I'm doing great. It's great
Good.
to see you.
You too, you too.
This has been a really interesting weekend because for caregivers, it could have been a really great opportunity, and I hope the caregivers have done this. They've recharged themselves, their spirit somehow. I know walking out of a nursing home, out of a hospice place, out of sometimes your mom's apartment can be really a downer, really troublesome. But that's where the balance comes in. That's why we have this show to talk about the balance, where you can kind of take some time off for yourself. And Sue, you and Easy Living and Aging Wisely do that so beautifully. So why don't we talk about the respite program that you've offering our caregivers?
Well, Kim, I'd love to. We're actually, and as some of your listeners know, because we've talked about this before, but this started as part of our mission statement, and we wanted an opportunity to really live that and just be able to give back to the community a little bit. So we decided what we would do is offer your listeners and anybody who's interested 3 free hours of caregiving. If it's something that you aren't sure if you wanted to try, or you're thinking about giving it a try and you're just not sure how to jump in, just to give the caregivers some respite from caring for that loved one, especially now at this time of year when things start to get a little hectic and we all forget about how important that balance is.
Right, but they could use it. They could go food shopping. They could do food preparation. Tell us more.
Absolutely. We can do a couple of different things. The caregiver our professional caregivers, who are all licensed home health aides and certified nursing assistants, can either stay with your loved one while you choose to go out and run to Publix and pick up your groceries and run to get your pharmaceuticals if you need them, or just run some errands, or pick up family from the airport if they're coming in. We can stay with your loved one, or the caregiver can come in and really help you at home, which would be things like doing some light housekeeping, or changing linens on the bed for you, or running to Publix with your grocery list if you have it, whatever it might be. Just something that would just help lighten that load and take that burden off. And, like we always say, many, many hands make light work. So if it takes the burden off of, especially if the caregiver's home by themselves, you start to feel overwhelmed and a little isolated. We can help with that. So
what a gift that you are giving our community. Thank you so much, Sue.
Thanks,
and your whole team at Aging Wisely and Easy Living. What a great team you have.
Thanks.
So if someone is interested, how will they get in touch with you? What's the best way?
The best way is probably through the helpline, and that phone number has been up. Otherwise, they can contact us at the office, and our office is in Clearwater at 727-448-0900, or contact you through here, and you'll hook us up.
Yes. So your link is actually in a few different places. It is on the homepage for the radio show. So if someone wants to go to thecaregiverhour.com, there is a link there. You are also on the helpline. Again, that helpline number, which is available 24/7, you can always leave a message and then pick it up, is 1-877-552-4950.
Great.
But then, so we're really making ourselves very available to you. We're going to come back, Sue, and we want to talk a little more about the holidays and kind of some tips that we can help our caregivers. And, maybe you have a story of a caregiver that maybe used the respite, and then that way that can make a connection for our listeners, because they're so busy, Sue, and sometimes they hear some parts of the show or they hear the whole show, and we want to make that very available, especially this holiday season.
Absolutely.
And then we have Dr. Johnson, who I'm so looking forward to having her come here. She's this beautiful woman. She's got this beautiful spirit to her. You know, I had the conversation. I was like, I can't wait to meet her, because she's the medical director at Gulfside Regional Hospice, and she has so much information, but also that passion comes through from her. And we know that hospice is really another tough area, and where caregivers are in that crisis mode, where they need so much of that balance and nurturing. And I'm sure they do that at Gulfside. But we're going to learn more. So
Good.
I'm so excited. You want to stay connected to us, and we're thrilled that you're here today. And we're looking forward to having you come back. I'm Kim Linder. You're listening to the Caregiver Hour on 1250 Wins WHNZ.
Caregiving has gotten harder and more complicated, even as families have more and more demands on their time. That's why AARP is here to help caregivers with the tools, information, and support they need to care for their loved ones and themselves. Check out aarp.org/caregiving to connect with other caregivers like yourself and find the resources you need. Visit the AARP Caregiver Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
Injured in a car accident or suffering from back and joint pain for a while? Clearly, you need to see a doctor. Call Dr. Ben, a chiropractor with 25 years experience. He listens, he cares, he gets results. His common sense approach? Coaching patients to be self-sufficient and less doctor-dependent. Let's face it, there are many things you can do to improve your health. Call Dr. Ben at 727-488-8044. Mention the Caregiver Hour radio show for a free examination. 727-488-8044. Dr. Ben, your coach to better health. 727-488-8044.
Sometimes I know what I want to say, but just can't find the words.
Last week I shouted at my grandson, and I'm not sure why.
I saw my daughter, but couldn't remember her name.
The sooner you recognize the warning signs of Alzheimer's disease, the sooner you can do something about it. To learn more, go to alz.org/10signs. That's alz.org/10signs. A message from the Alzheimer's Association.
Caregiving can be an overwhelming and stressful experience. Aston Gardens, Tampa Bay's premier senior living community, is excited to be able to support those who care for others. Please join them the third Thursdays of the month at 5:30 p.m. to learn creative problem-solving techniques and caregiving ideas from others who have been in your shoes. Aston Gardens specializes in independent living, assisted living, and memory care. Chosen for the third year in a row by the U.S. Commerce Association for the Best of Tampa Bay Award in residential care. Call 813-855-2811 or visit astongardens.com for more info.
Your home is where you feel relaxed, safe, and secure. Arcadia Home Care understands that you want to maintain that freedom and independence, even though you may be recuperating from an injury, illness, or simply require a little support with daily activities of living. You create a plan for your life as you envision it, and you can rest assured Arcadia will provide companionship, personal care, housekeeping, shopping, and errands, or whatever you need. They deliver their services with compassion, dependability, and professionalism. Their caregivers are screened, bonded, and insured, and must meet rigorous hiring standards, so you are confident you're receiving the best care possible for you or your loved one. Visit ArcadiaHomeCare.com or call St. Petersburg at 727-579-9414 or Tampa at 813-651-1300 to schedule your free in-home assessment and learn how Arcadia can enhance your quality of life while helping you stay at home and healthier longer. Arcadia Home Care, providing quality services since 1978.
The Caregiver Hour on 1250 Wins WHNZ. It's about taking care of yourself while you take care of others. Here's your host, Kim Linder.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Caregiver Hour radio show. My administrative assistant, Gail Bryant, is out sick today with a cold, and so I'm sending you love and light, Miss Gail. I saw her right before I had to get to the station. I gave her some chicken soup with a matzo ball. This is the Jewish penicillin, but it works for everyone. So it should get some rest. That's all we're saying to you is get some rest, get some sleep, watch some movies. So it's the caregiver coach. I'm telling you, you got to take care of yourself so that we can see you tomorrow for our celebration at work. I just am so thrilled that you're here every month, Sue. It's such a joy. Caregivers don't always get in touch with me. They're busy, or they think, oh, I'll wait, I'll do it later. So they email me, they text me, they call me all different times of the day, sometimes on the weekend. And I can just tell you that it's making a difference having you on the show, because you've got the Aging Wisely, the geriatric care management piece that's so important. And then you have the easy living, which again is that home care professional. I was listening to the qualifications that you have for your staff that make it that when a family is having a stranger come into their home, a professional caregiver, that they've been screened. Tell me more about what you do, because I think that helps caregivers have some peace of mind that they're getting a quality person.
And I think, Kim, that's one of the biggest places that we are so cognizant of the fact that you are having a stranger come into your home. And so obviously our caregivers are all licensed CNAs and licensed home health aides, so they've been through school. When they come to Easy Living or Aging Wisely for an interview, they have to pass a competency test. We require that they pass a competency test with at least 90% or better. And if they don't and fall a little short, we invite them to come back in another 3 months and try again. Once they do that, then they're put through a cultural fit test, so we make sure that they are aware of cultural diversity and sensitivity. And if they do well on that, then they get an interview with us. So we're very, we are very blessed to have the best of the best working for us, and we're so proud of our caregivers. Of course, everybody is fingerprinted and level 2 background check, because that's required by the state. So, and then not being a nurse registry, because we're a licensed home care agency, we are licensed, spotted, and insured, and all of our workman's comp is covered through the company. So we really put as much in place as you possibly can to really make sure everybody's screened well, and we have accountable and integritous people coming into your home.
And where that goes then is I'm able to carry that message and have that available for our caregivers, our listeners, and our viewers. And even when I'm out networking or meeting with families one-on-one with the coaching. So I'm just saying to you that it gives me peace of mind that I can have all of that available to share with our caregivers. So why don't we now shift a little to the holidays, okay? Because Thanksgiving's happening this week and we're all getting ready. Tell us how that respite may come into play, or maybe some tips that you have as a professional caregiver that you could share with our listeners and viewers.
Well, certainly, as we said, really that respite could come from the respite could be used either for the caregiver to help get tasks accomplished, or certainly take care of that loved one. Kim, how crazy it gets for all of us when our families come into town and routines change, and that's very hard for our loved ones, especially those who have some dementia. And, I remember we talked to Rick sometime over the summer about vacationing, and he was saying how difficult that had gotten now. And so, I would say we would encourage, if you're the caregiver for your loved one, encourage your family to come in. And at this point for Thanksgiving, obviously it's a little bit late, but with holidays coming up after that, encourage family to come to you. And certainly Florida is not a hard place to visit if you're coming. My sister said it was 14 in Connecticut the other day, and it was getting ready to snow. My mom and dad left yesterday to go up there. They're going to freeze. But anyway, so, certainly coming to Florida is not a hard gig at holiday time. But
and, Rick, who we've had really on for over a year, and he was on really to help remind us. We called him Rick Man with a Mission, because he has early onset Alzheimer's, and he was really helpful in helping us cue in. And, sometimes I think, let's get to that routine, because I think that really happens. Maybe the couple who need care are home, or maybe it's the husband is taking care of the wife who may have dementia or a disability. And then, things are peaceful, things are in place, and all of a sudden people come in and people are moving things around, and now mom is really not in charge of it all.
Right. And the chaos, and it could be good chaos.
And excitement, right.
And good excitement, and everybody's, well-intended, of course, but it's just you add all of those people and all of those activities into the mix, and it just becomes a little overwhelming for your loved one who's used to doing certain things a certain way. We like to say, give everybody a job so that everybody has a piece of the holiday. So you're not now taking care of 10 more people. Right. That's not helping you. Or if you tend to feel the need to have the kitchen in your control,
Right.
then maybe you make sure that they take your loved one, whether it's your spouse or your dad or your mom, or your child with a disability, take them out and maybe give them an outing with just one or two people,
Right.
whether it's not so complicated with 6 or 7 people running around in the kitchen trying to get things done. So,
And if someone has been used to be doing this, they kind of want to be in the kitchen too. There might be a part of them that would be like to do something. So you can, even if they're in the living room, maybe they could do something on a TV table and just do some chopping or some tearing things apart so that they can help in some way, fold napkins.
absolutely. And maybe if it's a task that you're not comfortable leaving unsupervised, then you get one of your other family members. Now, you can be doing something else at the stove, and you have another family member or a friend come in and kind of supervise that activity for your loved one. And that just takes the stress over. I don't have to worry about them with the paring knife.
Right, exactly.
But yes, you can certainly chop apples to go into the stuffing. So, I think that's great.
So tell us what else Aging Wisely and Easy Living do during the holidays that in preparation, just how you can help the caregiver at this point.
Well, a lot of I can give you an example. Actually, our caregiving hours sometimes go down a little bit because we have family that come in from out of town,
Right.
which again is so well intended, but it disrupts the regular routine, which is kind of hard. So really, it's just the other place, actually, that I think that we might want to touch on is, sometimes families only come into town once or twice a year during the holidays.
Right.
And so you roll in and mom's been telling you on the phone, everything's great. And all of a sudden somebody rolls in from Ohio and it's not so great.
Right.
Aging Wisely might be a perfect opportunity for you to call about some care management services and just say, we need eyes and ears on the ground here while we're back in Ohio, because everybody can't drop and just come running every time there's a crisis. So maybe just some ongoing local oversight and management would be an opportunity. And we're here through the long weekend, so we would love to answer any questions if anybody had any.
That's great. So if you have any questions, you want to call us toll free at 1-877-897-8255, and that's right now. But if after the show you listen to the show or you watch the show, you can always get in touch with Aging Wisely, either on our website, their link is right there, and you can connect with them, or you can also call the helpline. Our helpline is available, and the Caregiver Resource Helpline, that's available 24/7 on our website, but also toll free. Again, we want to give you these toll-free numbers to have as your little backup, and that's 1-877. I'm forgetting the number right now.
It's a good thing it's up there in front of you.
And there we go. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And that's
Yay, John.
1-877-552-4950. Thank you so much, John. We are going to have a nice treat, Sue. We're going to keep you here because there's more to talk about, but also in case someone wants to call in. We're going to have Dr. Suzanne Johnson, Medical Director at Gulfside Regional Hospice, here with us next after the break. And we're going to be talking about how to become aware of the hospice-free benefits for the caregiver and for the patients.
Love
and we're going to
hospice.
talk about, I love hospice too, but we're going to learn who Dr. Johnson is and also who is and what is Gulfside Regional Hospital, where are they located, and how do we get connected to them? I'm Kim Linder. You're listening to the Caregiver Hour on 1250 WINS WHNZ.
From the Tampa Bay Orthopedic Specialist Studios, 1250 WINS WHNZ, Tampa Bay. Find it anywhere you go on the iHeartRadio app. Download it now.
Black Friday's coming. That time of year. Chaos, pandemonium, holiday madness. How will you survive? No need to panic. Let Ford be your survival guide. The best survival tip? Start your holiday shopping at your local Ford dealer. Get Black Friday savings on top of already great deals, all on a fresh lineup of efficient cars, trucks, and SUVs. Yeah, it's kind of a big deal. Hurry to the Ford Black Friday sales event, now until December 2nd.
Do you have plans to buy or sell your home in the near future? If so, don't miss the Jamie Maloney Real Estate Show with your host, Jamie Maloney. Thursdays at 5 p.m. right here on 1250 Wins WHNZ. You'll get all the information you need to know about what's happening in the local real estate market and how to take advantage of that knowledge. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, listen to the Jamie Maloney Real Estate Show with host Jamie Maloney, Thursdays at 5 p.m. right here on 1250 Wins WHNZ.
Help me legalize medical marijuana in Florida. Follow me on Twitter at John Morgan ESQ.
This report brought to you by Florida Department of Transportation, AlertTodayFlorida.com. In Florida, 1 in every 4 traffic fatalities involve a pedestrian. Drivers, stop or yield for pedestrians and bicyclists. Pedestrians, always use a crosswalk. Bicyclists, obey all traffic laws. Alert today, alive tomorrow. A message from the Florida Department of Transportation.
From the Bright House Network's Traffic Center, keep it under the speed limit, especially if you're along I-75 northbound near the Manatee-Hillsborough County line. In Pinellas County, I have a crash on 4th Street at 70th Avenue North. You might want to use Dr. King Street instead. Also, a minor crash in Clearwater at Gulf to Bay and Park Place Boulevard, and a minor wreck on Lakeview at Missouri. See traffic problems? Call the Safe Touch Security Traffic Tip Line at 866-545-9595.
1250 Winds Weather Center forecast. Highs today in the lower to mid 70s. The cloud cover going to kind of stick around most of the day. We'll see a 20% chance of showers and that breeze, windy at times. Lows tonight and to the mid 60s. We'll see upper 70s for tomorrow. 80% chance of rain, so expect some showers. Another front comes in. That'll cool things off for the coming holidays with upper 60s on Wednesday, and then we'll even see low 60s for Thanksgiving. Wall Street, Dow is up 37, Nasdaq gaining 6. The S&P index positive by a point, down to 16,102. 1250 Wins, WHNZ.
It's the Caregiver Hour on 1250 Wins WHNZ with encouragement, guidance, and support for caregivers. Here's your host, Kim Linder.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I love doing this show, but there's so many other people that love coming on and doing the show with me. So I'm so thrilled that we have Dr. Johnson here. Dr. Johnson is the medical director at Gulfside Regional Hospice. So Dr. Johnson, welcome to the Caregiver Hour.
Thank you, Ken. It's really a pleasure to be here to chat with you.
You're welcome.
And your audience about hospice on behalf of Gulfside Regional Hospice.
So why don't we, I described you a little before the break, and I believe it to be true. You've got an aura about you that's just full of light, and there's a richness to that, and must be so comforting for the families. Can you tell us about who you are and also about Gulfside Regional Hospice?
Sure. I'm the medical director of Gulfside Regional Hospice. We are a community-based organization situated in Pasco County. We are nonprofit, and we have been serving the residents of the county, patients with life-limiting illness and their families for over 20 years.
Okay, that's great. So 20 years old. That's good. Mm-hmm. What else would you like to tell us about hospice?
Well, this is a wonderful time to talk about hospice, Kim, because as you said, November is actually Hospice and Palliative Care Month, so very fitting. 1.65 million Americans were served by hospice last year, so we can tell that that number is growing, and we're very encouraged by that. But what is hospice? Hospice is basically a model of care. It is a compassionate model of care, delivering care to patients and their families with life-limiting illness. At Gulfside Regional Hospice, we also like to think about it as a time when we can empower people who have a life-limiting illness. It's such a challenging time, as we all well know. And to be able to kind of give them back the power and the control, to be able to have them decide what are their goals of care, what do they want to accomplish at this last stage of their lives, is very fulfilling.
It really has to be, because you can only imagine all those holes and wells of healing that needs to happen with family members during this time.
Absolutely.
How do you make that happen? I know we want to talk about the benefits, the financial benefits, but this is such an emotional benefit for the person who is maybe transcending or transitioning, and the family member, or the maybe it's a loved one, maybe it's an old friend who hasn't spoken to this person in a long time, and all of a sudden they know that this person is transitioning and they want to still feel a connection. How do you make that happen? I think that's so powerful.
Absolutely. One of our major goals in delivering hospice care is to focus on what we call total pain. and the alleviation of total pain. The word palliative comes from the Latin word palliare, which means to really wrap your arms around.
Oh my
to
gosh.
Cloak. And so what we see ourselves doing is literally doing that with an individual who's facing this stage of their life, along with their family members. The richness of what we do is we are interdisciplinary. So physicians, nurses, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in depth, medical social workers, pastoral counselors, we work together to try to help the patient and family identify exactly what you're saying, what their needs are, and then we move to help make that happen. So that's the alleviation of sometimes emotional pain, as you said, in a strange relationship.
Right.
Our medical social workers are skilled in being able to work with a family, get in touch with other family members. Sometimes they're local, sometimes they're not.
Right.
Help to affect whatever needs to happen for that conversation. We've had patients literally a few minutes before they die get on the phone and have that last conversation with someone that they love. We've been able to help family members come to actually be at the bedside to see that loved one before they pass on. You know, our counselors, our spiritual counselors, our trained volunteers are able to sit with the patients and families, hear those stories, and just in telling of the story in itself, there's therapy, and it's a therapeutic relief.
Right, there's a release.
So everything we do is really looked and framed by helping to alleviate total pain.
Wow, I'm thrilled. That's truly holistic, and that's truly looking at the person. And really, what a gift. What a gift. I love that, Dr. Johnson. I know we need to really, I know we also want to talk about some of the other benefits. And why don't we do that while we're on this topic? Because you've got me in such a mindset now of how powerful and what you really do. I'm really touched by it. And I really hope our listeners and our viewers are really getting a sense of what Dr. Johnson just shared with us. Because it really, that's huge for the person who's passing away, but also the person that's remaining. We're always in pain. And how that conversation, how that connection can make such a difference. So if this is something you want to bring up and you're a caregiver and you're sitting at home or with your loved one right now, you want to call us toll free at 1-877-897-8255 and begin having that conversation with Dr. Johnson right now. I highly recommend it. It would make a world of difference. And I know that hearing, they say, is one of the last senses that leaves us. So you still have the opportunity to make that phone call. So, Dr. Johnson, where else do we want to go and talk about the benefits for our caregivers and for our loved ones?
Certainly, Kim. Well, you mentioned that it's a gift. And yes, it may be a gift, but it's also an entitlement. Americans are entitled to hospice care. It is an insurance benefit, and it is paid for through various insurance arms, whether it be Medicare, Medicaid, private insurances, managed care insurances. So I want to really underscore that this is something that we are actually entitled to. At Gulfside Regional Hospice, occasionally we have patients who don't have any insurance.
Right.
And we absorb the cost of that care.
Okay.
So there is not a patient who is on our service, no matter what their insurance arm is, who bears any out-of-pocket costs. And that's important to know because finances in healthcare are so often a barrier.
Right, for getting the care that you need. So why don't, I do want to come and visit you and your team. I would love a tour.
We'd love that.
Yeah,
I
would love that.
Please come.
Yeah, I will. We will set that up. Katie and I will do that. So tell us a little more so that our listeners and viewers are really getting the full picture of what you provide.
Certainly. So how does someone get onto hospice?
Okay.
You can always self-refer.
You can self-refer.
And we will give you that number and you can call.
So why don't you give the number right now?
Certainly. The number is 1-800-561-4883.
Okay. And give that number one more time in case someone was writing that down.
1-800-561-4883. Okay. Please call us.
Yes, it sounds like that would be a great idea. You also have support groups, as far as I understand.
Support groups.
We're going to be adding those to our website as well.
And it's important that your listening audience know that you don't have to have a family, a loved member on with our hospice services to avail yourself of our support groups. We have support groups, and we'll give you that information. You can call us, and I think you'll have it too as well, Kim, to share with your listening audience. We have bereavement groups, and I want everyone to know that one of the richness of the hospice benefit is that if your loved one is on hospice and after they have passed on, after they have died, we continue to provide bereavement services for 13 months. And as you said, Kim, that pain, your loved one may have gone.
Right.
But that pain continues.
Right.
And so we are here to really walk that difficult path with you as well.
That's really great because when my in-laws passed away, we were living at that time in Pinellas County, and we've got Suncoast Hospice, and they would just, even though we did the counseling for a few months with the chaplain, they did call. And it was that reminder, that gentle reminder, oh yeah, that's right. I want, that's still that part of me that I haven't totally filled, totally healed. Thank you for that gentle reminder, and it was a good reminder. So I think that that's wonderful that you provide that service for people in your area. What else? Where? How did you get into this? I think that this is really, people will say to me, Kim, people who are caregivers have a special heart, and I don't disagree with that because we're all allowed to have our talents and our gifts. How did this all come about for you, Dr. Johnson?
Well, I think you're absolutely right. I think as we look back over our lives, we often see a thread that goes all the way through. And so and it's too much to talk about now, but really way back in my life, I've seen how I've sort of been drawn to end of life. But most recently, in the last 15 years, I'm working with the geriatric population. I began to see how it was so appropriate for many of my patients to enter a system where the focus was really on caring, was on pain and symptom control. The whole emergency room, hospital stay, ICU stay is wonderful and appropriate when we're able to cure and turn back the trajectory of that illness. But when we get to the point where it's a life-limiting illness and energy is finite, to be able not to have to spend your energy that way when you really are not accomplishing the objective of turning back the illness, but to be able to be in a system where you can focus on what's most important to you on every level and have everybody who's coming to care for you, wherever you may be, because hospice is where the patient is. It can be at home, in an assisted living facility, in a nursing facility, in our inpatient centers, excuse me, and we have 4 of those in Pasco County where we do short-term, aggressive pain and symptom management. What a relief to just be able to have all that energy available to you.
Right. I totally agree, and I can appreciate that you're really trying to help the family. And, I was just picturing you in the emergency room versus being at hospice, and what a shift that must be, because all what came up for me was how you must embrace what you do every day now. There's no resistance to what your purpose is any longer. You're embracing it perfectly, and you're smiling like that's really true.
I think that's very true, Kim. I think everyone who works with hospice, just as every caregiver that's listening today, really sees it as calling. You don't do this work and you don't at home take care of your loved ones unless you don't feel called to it, that it's part of your mission, that you can bring your whole heart and self. And so I have to say, for all of us here at Gulfside Regional Hospice, that's why we're here, and that's what we bring every day.
Well, you serve a very big purpose in our community, and we are so thrilled that you're here today, Dr. Johnson. We are going to be going to a break, and then if you think of something else you want to add to this conversation, Sue Talbott will also be coming back, and then we have a special guest. We've got Benny Arnold, who's organizing queen, who'll be calling in. And, again, it's all really about helping the caregiver and their loved one. So if you would stay with us, that would be great. And again, if you have any questions, you can call us toll free at 1-877-897-8255 right now, and you can ask us your questions or give us your comments. We'd love to share that with you. I'm Kim Linder. You're listening to the Caregiver Hour on 1250 WINS WHNZ.
If you or a loved one experience bladder control problems, here's important news.
For more than 5 years now, the nice ladies at the Caregiver Partnership have taken the time to understand my needs, suggest the best choices of bladder control products for me, and always get the right product delivered to my door fast and with free shipping.
To get started, simply call 800-985-1353 for your free catalog and $60 in coupons. Many people just like you trust the Caregiver Partnership for convenient home delivery of bladder control products, and they have more than 500 to choose from. Call now. The call is free, shipping is free, and your satisfaction is guaranteed.
The Caregiver Partnership treats me like family and really knows their stuff, and they keep my business. private.
Call 1-800-985-1353 now to receive your free catalog with $60 in coupons. That's 1-800-985-1353. Call now. The voice in the preceding advertisement is not the voice of an actual customer.
We all know that life can change quickly, and when an elderly loved one suddenly needs in-home care, there's one trusted name you can count on at a moment's notice: Senior Helpers. Senior Helpers is a national leader in professional in-home senior care. They specialize in companionship, personal care, and even dementia care using their unique Senior Gems approach. Find out how they can help you today. Call them at 727-210-1414. Senior Helpers, comfort and care at a moment's notice.
Enjoy life at the Barrington, Largo's premier senior community. The Barrington, the resort lifestyle you deserve at a price you can afford. Life at the Barrington is truly senior living at ease, complete with chef-prepared meals, an activities director, and transportation to your favorite spots. Independent and assisted living homes are available now by calling the Barrington at 727-217-5681. Call the Barrington at 727-217-5681 to schedule your tour of their pet-friendly senior community today.
Hi, it's Kim Linder from the Caregiver Hour. I want to tell you about an attorney in Clearwater that I have known for over 7 years. His name is Bill Rambaum, and I have referred many families to him for his legal expertise. Bill is one of less than 100 attorneys to be evaluated by the Florida Bar and become certified as a specialist in elder law. His 30 years of experience and impeccable credentials make him one of the most highly regarded legal experts in our area. Give Bill a call today at 727-781-5357 or visit rambaumlaw.com. Non-attorney spokesperson.
Family caregivers, it's new and just for you. The Caregivers Resource Helpline, a free service brought to you by the Caregiver Hour radio show. If you've got questions about anything related to caregiving, you can call the helpline 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Speak directly to dozens of caregiving experts on topics like what to do about caregiver burnout, how to best protect your family's assets, when to keep your loved one at home, or get assistance with a managed care facility, and much, much more. You can even speak to a caregiver coach. Call the Caregiver Resource Helpline today at 1-877-552-4950 to help you take the stress out of caregiving. The Caregiver Hour on 1250 Wins WHNZ. It's about taking care of yourself while you take care of others. Here's your host, Kim Linder.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Caregiver Hour radio show. If you just tuned in, you have missed a really great show, so you'll definitely want to go and download the podcast or even the live stream web archive. That's all on the Caregiver Hour radio show website. So again, it's thecaregiverhour.com. We are really going to continue this conversation about taking care of caregivers, and I've got a wonderful lady who I met at a networking event this past summer at University Village, and her name is Betty Arnold. She's the organizing queen, and when someone stands up and says that they are the organizing queen, you have to look at that person. You're like, wow, that's a great name to have, and what a way to kind of frame what you do. So Betty, welcome to the Caregiver Hour radio show.
Good morning, Kim, and thank you.
You're welcome. Why don't you tell our listeners what you do? And viewers, because now that there's a picture of you up on the screen, so they see what you look like and your name. Restoring simplicity and space to your living place. What a great phrase, Betty.
That is my mission statement, and I include it in all of my marketing material. You know, the holiday season is upon us, starting with Thanksgiving this week, and there are 3 tips that I can give you to help you enjoy them.
That'd be great.
It's eliminate, delegate, and celebrate. Eliminate. First of all, you need to make a list of all the things you're going to do for the next holiday. That would be Thanksgiving. Now, eliminate 1. Every task does not have to be done every year. Now, remember to breathe. Number 2, delegate. You can empower others by including them in the tasks that need to be done. They may not do it as well as you, but you know, the goal is not to make it perfect. The goal is to be productive.
Mm-hmm.
And remember to laugh. Number 3, celebrate. Do something small. Do some small thing just for you. Place some holiday candles in the bathroom and take a relaxing bath. You've created time for you. Enjoy it. And remember to celebrate you.
Wow, Betty, you're very good on the radio. You need to come in one day and be a guest here because you've got a lot to offer our listeners, and that's very wise and practical information. Sometimes they just need to be reminded and also given permission. One of the things we would love to share with our listeners is your phone number. What if someone wants to be in touch with you, Betty?
The telephone number is 813-961-4755.
Do it one more time, please.
813-961-4755.
Okay. Betty, is there anything else you would like our listeners to know?
I would just like to share, since this audience is made up of caregivers, about our service called Condolence Organizing. It's here to give support to family caregivers even after the loved one has passed. I started doing this as an ongoing effort to serve the senior community. So the Organizing Queen offers this service, and it's one complimentary 3-hour session for qualified clients. If you have lost a family member during the past year, you may be eligible, and I invite you to go to my website. During your time of grief and mourning, you may need to make some changes to reset your life. If you are the person dealing with the affairs of the one who has passed, you may need some help, and this is where we as professional organizers come in. We are caring professionals who can offer ideas about how to handle the things that belong to your loved one, and we can listen to the stories and make suggestions of ways to preserve the memory of the one who has died. Because the goal is not to keep all of their things, the goal is to preserve their memory.
Wow. So all I could think about was how perfectly timed this was that you were on the show today with Dr. Johnson and her team from Gulfside Regional Hospice, because
I heard Dr.
This
Johnson,
is like
and
so
it is a
perfect.
fit.
So I am so thrilled because you all need to get together and again serve the community and show how seamless things can be, but also how collaboration happens in our community to support them. It's monumental. So Betty, thank you so much for being on the show. You're welcome to stay. We're going to still have our guests add some information, and we have some events, don't we, John? Some events that we want to showcase. Why don't we do that right now before we get back to Sue and Dr. Johnson? I know that, I don't know if anyone here in this room knows Adrienne Everett, but she, and I know that Sue Talbott does, but she's like this dynamic, beautiful young person who works for the Plaza, the Palms of Largo, and she contacted me about the Honor Flight of West Central Florida. And also the Tarpon Springs Shepherd Center. They're doing this cocktail party fundraiser. It's a big to-do, but so well worth it. My husband, Jack, and I actually went to the airport earlier this year to watch the veterans come off the plane after being in Washington, D.C. and seeing the monuments and going to different places at Washington, D.C. with caregivers, with caregivers, professional caregivers, who then escort them and assist them in their wheelchairs, walkers, or just walking around. And it's just such a fabulous day for them, and then to be able to come back. And they didn't want the veterans to be coming back to an airport that was empty, so a ton of people were there to welcome them and cheer them as they came off the plane and came into the airport. And I was there, and I said, I want to do this one day. I would like to be one of those people that escorts them as a caregiver so that they can have a great day. But this is a great benefit. Let's just go back to that for 1 second, John. It's a great benefit, and if anyone wants more information, I encourage you to contact them at 727-674-1113, or you can always email me, kim@thecaregiverhour.com, and I'll be happy to help you get in touch with them and reserve a ticket, or maybe you would like to donate something for them. They're taking donations, financial donations, but also gift ideas for a silent auction. So that's a really great event. And the Palms of Largo are big supporters of the veterans. And that's happening on December 6th, 2013. For those of you who are listening, it's a cocktail holiday party on December 6th, 2013, from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Plaza, which is this beautiful area that they've built on the grounds at Palms of Largo, and that's on 385 Alternate Keene Road. That'll be posted up on our website as well if anyone wants to go. It's on our calendar. And then the next event we have, thank you, John, is the Gulf Coast Senior Center hosts a community resource partnership educational event on Wednesday, December 4th from 2 to 4 p.m. And they are having they want people to come. A registration is available. They're going to be talking. They've got a panel of great speakers, and they're going to be talking. I'm just looking at the topic, is aging in life care planning. You know, we've been talking about this with Dr. Johnson and with Sue today, and of course with Betty, about all the planning that caregivers need to do and have that information, and that's why we have the show. And this is a great event for you to attend. Gulfport's a really great place, and you can go for lunch there if you want, and then go over to the event. And it's at the Gulfport Senior Center, again, on Wednesday, December 4th, from 2 to 4 p.m. And the topic will be aging and life care planning. And they've got a panel of 4 people, and I'm sure it's going to be great because I know some of those people, and they're wonderful. So, again, it's complimentary, but you've got to register. And that number would be at 727-893-2237. And that'll be also up on our website as well for our calendar, for our viewers. I want to, before we get off now, I see that we have like 1 minute left. So, Dr. Johnson, I wanted to give you a minute. If you could help just give another tip to our listeners about what are the benefits that they can be entitled to if they're associated with the Gulf Coast Regional Hospice.
We have a respite level of care where our patients are placed for 5 days in one of our nursing homes that we're associated with, and the family and the caregivers get those 5 days to focus on self-care. We also have a veterans program where we honor those who have given of their time and their efforts on behalf of our country, which is something that we're very, very proud of. And in terms of some of the benefits that come without any cost, medications related to the illness, durable medical equipment, walkers, supplies that are needed, all of that is part of the benefit. So I really encourage your audience to take advantage of this very rich entitlement.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Dr. Johnson. And now, my friend Sue, we're coming to a close. So if someone wants to hear another wonderful tip, what would the one tip be before we close the show today?
Well, actually, instead of a tip, I'm going to tell who our inspirational caregiver is for November.
Oh, my God, we
but I'll
forgot
do it
to
really
do that.
fast.
Okay,
we are so proud at Aging Wise and Easy Living. Our inspirational caregiver for November is Charles Chambers.
Great.
And congratulations, Charles. He's only been with us for about 4 months, but he is energetic and young, and his clients love him, and he's organized and meticulous, and we just can't say enough about him. We're just so proud that he's part of our team. So
congratulations.
I'll do a tip next time, but this time I had to do Charles.
Of course. Congratulations, Charles. And stay with us, and we look forward to being with you again next Monday. I'm Kim Linder, your host of the Caregiver
The opinions,
Hour.
viewpoints, and promises made during the preceding program are not those of WHNZ AM, its staff, management, or parent company, Clear Channel Communications Incorporated.